My wife texted from Vegas like it was a vacation. I replied that her divorce was waiting. Then I discovered her real estate license was fake. She'd stolen millions from clients and was building a business with her lover. But the real twist? Her sister was pregnant with My name is Spencer Brooks. I'm 43 years old, and for the last 15 years, I've been a commercial real estate broker here in Phoenix. Started my own agency 8 years ago. Built it from nothing into something I'm proud of. Small operation, just me and 2 junior agents. But we're honest, we're thorough, and we close deals. They used to mean something to me. Integrity. Doing things the right way even when shortcuts exist. Gabrielle, my wife of 12 years, worked residential real estate. Different world, different clients, different pace. She had her prestigious license, her luxury listings, her networking brunches with other agents who wore too much perfume and talked too loud. I thought we were building parallel careers that complemented each other. Turns out she was building something else entirely. It was a Tuesday evening, around 7. I just finished a site walkthrough for a potential warehouse conversion downtown. Good property, solid bones, client seemed eager. I was feeling optimistic, the kind of optimism that comes from honest work producing real results. I grabbed takeout on the way home, some Thai place Gabrielle used to like before she suddenly decided she was too busy for our dinner routine. The house was empty when I got there. Not unusual lately. She'd been working late, or so she said. Weekend open houses that somehow lasted until midnight. Client emergencies that required her immediate attention at odd hours. I'm not stupid. I noticed. But I wasn't ready to confront what noticing meant. I was halfway through my pad thai when my phone buzzed. Text from Gabrielle. I'm in Vegas for a week. No context. No explanation. No. Hey honey, something came up. Just that flat statement, like she was reporting the weather. I stared at the screen, chopsticks frozen in my hand. Then came the second text. Don't worry about me. I'll be back next Tuesday. Something in my chest went cold. Not anger, not yet. Just this crystalline clarity, like watching ice form on a windshield. I knew. Right then, I knew everything I'd been pretending not to see for the past 6 months suddenly made perfect sense. I set down my food, picked up my phone, and typed back. Have fun with him. Your divorce papers are ready. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Then I did something I'd never done before. I blocked her number. Blocked her on every platform we shared. Email, social media, messaging apps. Every single one. I watched each block confirmation appear on my screen with the same detached calm I'd feel closing a failed business deal. My phone immediately started buzzing. Calls from her number, unable to connect. Then calls from numbers I didn't recognize. She was trying to get through. I let them all go to voicemail. Didn't listen to a single one. I sat there in my kitchen, takeout getting cold, and something settled in my bones. Not rage. Not grief. Just absolute certainty. I'd spent 6 months gathering evidence I didn't want to believe. The credit card statements with charges from hotels I'd never been to. The mileage on her car that didn't match her claimed destinations. The perfume bottles I didn't buy. The lingerie I'd never seen her wear. The late-night whispers she thought I couldn't hear through the bathroom door. And Derek. I knew about Derek Walsh. New agent at her brokerage. 20-something kid with more ambition than ethics. She called him her mentee. Talked about him constantly at dinner, back when we still had dinners. How promising he was. How much potential. How she was helping shape his career. Yeah, she was shaping something. I pulled out my laptop and opened the folder I'd been compiling. Screenshots, statements, receipts, GPS data from the car I'd quietly installed a tracker on 2 months ago. Everything documented, everything dated, everything ready. I'd been preparing for this moment, without fully admitting I was preparing for it. My phone buzzed again. This time, a text from an unknown number. Spencer, it's me. Why are you doing this? We need to talk. I deleted it without responding. Then I opened my contacts and pulled up my attorney's number. Left him a voicemail asking him to prepare dissolution papers first thing Wednesday morning. The house felt different now. Lighter somehow. Like I'd been carrying furniture I didn't realize was crushing me and finally set it down. I finished my cold Thai food, washed the dishes, and went through my evening routine like it was any other Tuesday. Except it wasn't. It was the Tuesday I stopped being the man who ignored the obvious. The Tuesday I stopped protecting someone who'd never protected me. The Tuesday I chose myself. The first call came at 6:15 Thursday morning. I was already awake, had been since 4:30. Couldn't sleep, but not from anxiety. More like that wired feeling you get before something important, when your body knows action is coming. Howard Montgomery's name lit up my screen. Gabrielle's father, retired Air Force colonel, the kind of man who treated every conversation like a briefing. I let it ring through to voicemail. 30 seconds later, he called again. I declined it manually this time. Then came Marilyn, Gabrielle's mother. 2 calls back to back. Then Howard again. By 7 a.m., I had 9 missed calls between the 2 of them. No voicemails on the first few. Then finally Howard left one. "Spencer, it's Howard. Call me back immediately. We need to discuss this situation with Gabrielle." Situation. Like she got a parking ticket, not blown up our marriage in a Vegas hotel room. I was pouring my second coffee when my phone buzzed with a text from a number I didn't recognize. "This is Marilyn. I'm using a friend's phone since you apparently blocked us. What is going on?" "Gabrielle is hysterical. She says you threatened her." "Threaten her? Beautiful." I was already the villain in whatever story she'd spun. I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded the text to my attorney, Ben Kaufman, along with screenshots of Gabrielle's original messages and my response. Added a note. Documentation of her family's involvement. Expect them to complicate proceedings. Ben replied within minutes. "Don't engage. Let me handle communication. Dissolution papers being filed today." At 8:30, my office phone rang. My receptionist, Claire, buzzed through. "Spencer, there's a Howard Montgomery online too. Says it's urgent family business. Tell him I'm unavailable and to contact my attorney for any legal matters. He says it's not legal, it's personal." "Everything's legal now, Claire. Take a message." She hesitated, then said quietly, "He sounds pretty upset. He'll get over it." The messages kept coming throughout the morning. Howard left 3 more voicemails, each one progressively more demanding. The third one actually made me smile. "Spencer, I don't know what Gabrielle did, but blocking her entire family is childish. We raised you better than this. I expect a phone call by noon, or I'm driving over there myself. Raise me better." That was rich coming from the man whose daughter was currently sharing a bed with a kid barely out of college, while her husband worked late closing deals. At 11:45, my phone rang again. This time it was Vanessa Cole, Gabrielle's best friend. I'd actually liked Vanessa once. Thought she was genuine, funny, the kind of friend everyone should have. Now I knew she'd been covering for Gabrielle's affair for months. All those girls' weekends and spa days that Vanessa supposedly organized. I answered this time. Put her on speaker while I reviewed a contract. "Spencer, thank God. I've been trying to reach you. What can I do for you, Vanessa?" My voice was flat, professional. What's going on?" Gabrielle called me sobbing. "She says you serve her with divorce papers while she's out of town for work." "She's not out of town for work." Silence. Then, carefully, "What do you mean?" "I mean she's in Vegas with Derek Walsh. And you know that, Vanessa. You've known for months." "Spencer, I think there's been a misunderstanding." "The only misunderstanding," I interrupted, still reading my contract like this conversation was no more important than ordering lunch, "was me thinking you were actually her friend instead of her accomplice. We're done here." I hung up, blocked her number, went back to work. By the end of the day, I had 23 missed calls, 14 text messages from unknown numbers, and 2 emails to my work address from people who shouldn't have had it. I ignored them all, because that's what you do when you're done negotiating. You just walk away. Friday evening, I was going through property listings at my home office when the doorbell rang. 3 sharp rings, then knocking. Aggressive knocking. I checked the security camera feed on my phone. Olivia Montgomery stood on my front porch, arms crossed, looking like she was ready to kick the door down if I didn't answer. Gabrielle's younger sister, 37, worked in pharmaceutical sales. Always struck me as the more grounded of the 2 Montgomery daughters. We'd gotten along well enough at family gatherings. She made decent conversation, didn't start drama. I opened the door, but didn't invite her in. "Spencer." Her voice was tight. "We need to talk." About my sister sobbing on the phone for 2 days because her husband blocked her and filed for divorce while she's out of town. She tell you where she is? Vegas. For a work conference. She tell you who she's with? Olivia's jaw tightened. "She's there alone." "No, she's not. She's there with Derek Walsh, her 20-something co-worker she's been sleeping with for the past 6 months. The color drained from Olivia's face. Not shock, I noticed. More like confirmation of something she didn't want to believe. You knew, I said quietly. Or suspected. I don't. Don't lie to me, Olivia. I'm done with lies. Did you know? She looked away. I saw them together once. At a restaurant in Scottsdale. 3 months ago. But she said it was a business dinner, that he was a mentee. And you believed her because it was easier than admitting your sister is a cheater. Her eyes snapped back to mine, anger flashing. You don't get to talk to me like that. Actually, I do. Because while you were giving her the benefit of the doubt, I was documenting every lie, every fake business trip, every dollar she spent on hotel rooms I've never seen. So yeah, Olivia, I get to be angry that her whole family helped her hide this. I didn't help her hide anything. You didn't tell me what you saw. Silence. She shifted her weight, looked uncomfortable. Why are you really here? I asked. Mom's worried. Dad's talking about driving down here himself. Let him. I'll tell him the same thing I'm telling you. This marriage is over. The only thing left is paperwork. Spencer, please. Just talk to her. Maybe there's an explanation. There's always an explanation, Olivia. That's what people like Gabrielle do. They explain, they justify, they make you feel crazy for not buying their story. But I'm done being made to feel crazy for noticing reality. She opened her mouth, closed it. Tried again. What if she ends it with him? What if she commits to counseling? Then she'll be single and in counseling. I started closing the door. Go home, Olivia. This isn't your fight. She's my sister. And she made her choice. Now I've made mine. I shut the door quietly, locked it, and watched through the camera as she stood there for a long moment before finally walking back to her car. My phone buzzed. Text from Ben Kaufman. Papers filed. She'll be served Monday morning at her listed business address. I replied, perfect. Then I poured myself a bourbon and went back to work. Monday morning, I was in the middle of a site inspection for a potential office conversion when Ben called. We have a problem. I stepped away from my client. What kind of problem? The business address you gave me for Gabrielle? It doesn't exist. The brokerage she claims to work for has no record of her employment. My stomach dropped. That's impossible. I've seen her license on the wall. She talks about her listings constantly. I'm looking at the state licensing board database right now. Gabrielle Montgomery Brooks, residential real estate agent. License number that she's been using? It's registered to a Gabrielle Henderson in Tucson. Expired in 2019. The world tilted slightly. She's using someone else's license. Looks like it. And there's more. I pulled her business LLC registration. Brooks Residential Properties? Doesn't exist. Never been filed. I walked further from the building, needed air. How long have you known this? Since this morning. I wanted to verify everything before calling. Spencer, if she's been practicing without a valid license and representing herself as a licensed agent, that's fraud. Potentially criminal fraud. Jesus Christ. There's something else. I found an LLC filed 8 months ago. Montgomery Walsh Realty Solutions. 50-50 ownership between Gabrielle Montgomery and a Derek Walsh. There it was. They weren't just having an affair. They were building an exit strategy together, using money they'd stolen from clients who thought they were working with a legitimate licensed agent. What do we do? I asked. Criminally? That's up to you. You could report her to the state board, file a complaint. Civilly? This actually helps us. Fraud during marriage is grounds for unequal asset division. And if she's been using marital funds or your credit to operate an illegal business, you might be able to claw back assets. Find everything, I said. Every transaction, every client she defrauded, every dollar that passed through that fake business. Already started. Spencer, this is going to get ugly. It was already ugly. Now it's just honest. I hung up and stood there in the parking lot. Tried to process it. 12 years. 12 years married to someone I apparently never knew. Not just an affair, but systematic fraud. Criminal activity. Using my name, my credit, my reputation as cover while she built a criminal enterprise with her boyfriend. My phone rang. Howard Montgomery. I answered this time. Yes. Spencer, we need to meet. Face to face. Man to man. I'm listening. Gabrielle made mistakes. I understand you're hurt. But divorce? Filing papers without even attempting counseling? That's not how we handle things in this family. Howard, did you know your daughter's real estate license is fake? Silence. Did you know she's been operating illegally for years? Defrauding clients? That she and her boyfriend started a company together, using money from those fraudulent deals. That's not possible. It's documented. My attorney has everything. So here's what's going to happen. I'm divorcing her. She's going to be reported to the state board and likely face criminal charges. And your family is going to stay out of it or get dragged into the investigation as potential accomplices if you keep interfering. You wouldn't. Try me. I hung up. Blocked his number 2. The inspection could wait. I had work to do. Wednesday afternoon, Gabrielle came home. I knew because the security system alerted me when the front door opened. I was in my office, in the middle of a contract negotiation, when my phone lit up with the notification. I finished my meeting first. Took my time. Let her sit with the silence. She could wait. When I pulled into the driveway an hour later, her car was parked at an angle, like she'd been in a hurry. Suitcases were visible through the rear window. The front door was unlocked. I found her in the living room, surrounded by luggage, mascara smudged down her cheeks, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. She looked like she'd been crying for days. Good. Spencer. Her voice fractured around my name. Thank God you're home. We need to talk about this. No, we don't. Please. Just listen to me. I can explain everything. I set my briefcase down carefully, crossed my arms. Explain how your real estate license is fake. Explain the LLC you formed with your boyfriend. Or maybe explain where the $80,000 in client deposits went. The blood drained from her face. How did you find out? I hired investigators, lawyers, people who actually do their jobs legally. I kept my voice level, almost casual, like we were discussing the weather. Gabrielle Henderson from Tucson. That's whose license you've been using. Expired in 2019. Every contract you've signed since then, every commission you've collected, every closing you've attended. Fraudulent. I was going to fix it. I just needed time. Time to steal more money. Time to build your escape plan with Derek. I stepped closer. Montgomery Walsh Realty Solutions. Cute name. How long were you planning that little venture? She sank onto the couch like her legs couldn't hold her anymore. It's not what you think. It never is. Let me guess the story you prepared during your flight home. Derek means nothing. It was just a mistake. You were lonely. I worked too much. You felt neglected. The affair just happened. That about cover it. Tears streamed down her face. I made mistakes. I know that. But we can fix this. Marriage counseling. I'll end things with Derek. I'll get my actual license. I'll pay back everyone. You'll face criminal charges. I said it matter-of-factly. My attorney filed complaints with the state board this morning. They're opening an investigation. Every client you defrauded will be contacted. Some will probably sue. And the district attorney's office? They're very interested in your business activities. She stood abruptly, anger flashing through the tears. You're trying to destroy me. I'm documenting the truth. You destroyed yourself, Gabrielle. I'm just making sure everyone else knows what I already figured out. I'm your wife. No, you're a stranger who's been wearing my wife's face for 12 years. The woman I married wouldn't have done this. Hell, the woman I married probably never existed. Gabrielle's face twisted with something ugly, desperate. You self-righteous jerk. You think you're so perfect? Always working late. Always putting business first. Never making time for us. Never prioritizing our marriage. Don't. My voice dropped low, dangerous. Don't you dare try to make your criminal behavior my fault. You didn't cheat because I worked late closing deals. You cheated because you're selfish. You didn't commit fraud because you felt neglected. You committed fraud because you're a con artist who thought she could get away with it. I loved you. You loved what I could provide. Stability. Legitimacy. A good credit score to hide your crimes behind. Someone to blame when it all fell apart. I picked up my briefcase. You have until Friday to remove your belongings. After that, I'm changing the locks, and anything left becomes property of the estate. This is my house, too. Actually, it's not. It's in my name. Purchased 3 years before we married. You have no legal claim to it. I headed for the stairs. Your attorney will receive our settlement proposal tomorrow. It's not generous. Given the fraud, you're lucky to get anything. Spencer, please. Don't do this. Save it for the judge, Gabrielle. You're going to need all the sympathy you can manufacture. I went upstairs to the guest room I've been using, locked the door, and called Ben. She's at the house, already making scenes, blaming me for everything. Ben's voice was steady, professional. Want her removed? Not yet. Let her sit in what she's created. But I'm documenting everything, recording all interactions from here on out. Smart move. How are you holding up? I looked around the sparse guest room, my temporary refuge. Honestly, I feel free for the first time in years. And I did. Like I'd been holding my breath underwater and finally broke the surface. Thursday morning, Howard and Marilyn showed up unannounced. I was loading boxes into my truck, already started moving essential items to a short-term rental I'd leased across town, when their Mercedes pulled into the driveway. Howard climbed out first, moving like a general inspecting troops. Marilyn trailed behind, clutching her purse. He'd aged 10 years in a week. She looked hollow, fragile in a way I'd never seen before. Spencer. Howard's voice lacked its usual command. We need to talk. No, we don't. Our daughter is falling apart. You've destroyed her career, her reputation, her entire life. I didn't destroy anything. I exposed what was already there. Big difference. Marilyn stepped forward, wringing her hands. Surely there's some misunderstanding about all this. Gabrielle wouldn't commit fraud. She's made mistakes in your marriage. Yes, but criminal activity? That's not our daughter. That's exactly your daughter. I set down the box I was carrying. Your daughter has been operating an illegal real estate business for years. She's stolen money from clients who trusted her. She's been having an affair and planning to leave me with her boyfriend while draining our assets. These aren't mistakes, Marilyn. This is who she is. Howard's face reddened. You have no proof of these accusations. I have mountains of proof. Bank records showing deposits from fake transactions. Hotel receipts from trips she claimed were business. Corporate filings for a company she formed with her lover. Business filings from the state licensing board confirming her license is fraudulent. Your daughter is going to face criminal charges, Howard. And if you keep interfering with the investigation, you might find yourself looked at as an accessory. How dare you threaten us? Howard moved forward, fists clenched. I didn't back up. It's not a threat. It's a consequence. You raised her. You taught her that charm could get her out of anything. You covered for her every time she screwed up as a kid, didn't you? Well, she screwed up too big this time, and I'm not covering for her anymore. Marilyn was crying now. Quiet, broken sobs that shook her shoulders. We just wanted you to give her another chance. People make mistakes in marriages, have affairs, it happens. This wasn't a mistake. This was calculated, systematic betrayal over years. I looked at both of them. And honestly, Marilyn, I don't think you're here because you care about our marriage. I think you're here because you're realizing your daughter might go to prison and you want me to make it disappear. That's not fair. It's completely fair. You want me to drop charges, withdraw complaints, settle quietly so the Montgomery name doesn't get dragged through the mud. But I can't make this go away. Even if I wanted to, which I absolutely don't, the state board has jurisdiction now. So does the district attorney's office. This is out of my hands. Howard straightened, trying to regain some dignity. Then we'll hire the best attorneys money can buy. Fight every charge. Sue you for defamation. You'll regret making an enemy of this family, Spencer. I already regret marrying into it. But that mistake is about to be corrected. I picked up my box and headed for the truck. Oh, and one more thing. You might want to liquidate some assets. Good defense attorneys don't come cheap. From what I hear, your retirement accounts took a hit last year. Some bad investment advice. Howard's face went white. I'd hit a nerve. How did you? I pay attention. Unlike your daughter, I actually do my research. I loaded the box. Good luck, Howard. You're going to need it. They stood there in my driveway, looking lost, like the world had shifted under their feet, and they couldn't figure out how to regain balance. Spencer, Marilyn called out. Her voice was small, broken. Did you ever really love her? I stopped, turned back one last time. I loved who I thought she was. Turns out that person never existed. Just another fraud in a family that apparently specializes in them. I drove away and didn't look back. In my rearview mirror, I could see Marilyn collapsed against their car, Howard standing rigid beside her. Not my problem anymore. Saturday morning, I was at the rental property unpacking boxes when my phone rang. Olivia Montgomery. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. What do you want, Olivia? To talk. In person. Alone. Please. Something in her voice sounded different. Not angry, not defensive. Broken. Why would I agree to that? Because I need to tell you something about Gabrielle. Something you need to know before the trial. We met at a park near downtown Phoenix. One of those places with walking trails and families playing on Saturday morning. Neutral ground. She was already there when I arrived, sitting on a bench, hands clasped tight in her lap. I sat down, kept distance between us. You've got 10 minutes. I'm pregnant. The words came out flat, emotionless. Congratulations. It's Derek's baby. The world tilted. I stared at her, trying to process what she'd just said. What? Derek Walsh. The man Gabrielle's been sleeping with. I'm pregnant with a child. My mind was racing. How long? 4 months. We've been seeing each other for 6 months. Her voice shook. I didn't know about him and Gabrielle at first. He told me he was single, available. By the time I figured it out, I was already falling for him. Jesus Christ. She doesn't know. About me and Derek. About the baby. Nobody knows except you now. I leaned back, processing this nightmare. So, Derek was sleeping with both of you simultaneously. Your sister and you. Yes. Tears started falling. I confronted him after you blocked Gabrielle. Asked him what was going on. He admitted everything. Said Gabrielle was just business, that I was the one he really cared about. But then I found out about the LLC, about their plans, and I realized he's been playing both of us. Why are you telling me this? Because Gabrielle's planning to use our family's sympathy to fight you. Playing the victim, claiming you're being vindictive. Mom and Dad believe her version. But you deserve to know the whole truth about what kind of man she chose and what it cost. What it cost you mean? What it cost all of us. She wiped her face. Derek dumped me 2 days ago. Said the legal trouble from the fraud investigation made things too complicated. He's already moved on to someone else. Another agent at the brokerage. Younger than me. I sat there, watching this woman fall apart, and felt a strange mixture of pity and vindication. Gabrielle's choices had destroyed more than just our marriage. Are you keeping the baby? Yes. Despite everything, yes. But I'm not telling my parents until after the trial. They can't handle more than one crisis at a time. They're going to figure it out eventually. I know. But right now they're focused on saving Gabrielle from prison. When they find out I'm carrying their other daughter's affair partner's baby. She laughed bitterly. God, what a mess. Why risk telling me? I could use this information. Because you're the only one who's been honest through all of this. Everyone else is lying, covering, spinning stories. You just told the truth, even when it hurt. She looked at me directly. And because I'm sorry. For not telling you what I saw in Scottsdale. For giving her the benefit of the doubt. For being a coward. I stood up. I appreciate you telling me. But I'm not going to use it against Gabrielle. This is between you and your sister. Spencer. But I will tell you this. Get away from your parents for a while. Get your own attorney. Because when Gabrielle finds out about you and Derek, she's going to try to destroy you. That's what she does. Olivia nodded slowly. I know. I walked back to my truck, leaving her on that bench. In my rearview mirror, she looked small, alone, pregnant with the baby of a man who'd used her as thoroughly as he'd used her sister. The Montgomery family was imploding, and I was watching it happen from a safe distance. Exactly where I needed to be. Monday morning, I got a call from Tom Brewster, one of my former clients. Nice guy. Owned a chain of auto repair shops. I'd helped him acquire a building for his 4th location 18 months ago. Spencer, I need to ask you something. Did your wife, Gabrielle, handle any real estate transactions for my cousin Ray? My stomach dropped. I don't know. Why? Because Ray just got a letter from the state board. They're investigating all of Gabrielle's transactions. Apparently, she was operating with a fraudulent license. Ray's closing from last year might be invalid. Tom, I'm sorry. I had no idea until recently. I know you didn't. That's not why I'm calling. I'm calling because there are at least 20 other business owners in our network who use Gabrielle. They're all getting letters. And they're all pissed. How pissed? Class action lawsuit pissed. They're organizing. Meeting tomorrow to discuss legal options. I closed my eyes. This was worse than I'd anticipated. Tom, whatever they decide, I understand. I'm not responsible for her actions, but I know that doesn't help them. Actually, that's the other reason I called. They specifically said they know this isn't on you. Nobody's blaming you, but they want you to know what's coming, and they wanted me to tell you directly instead of you hearing it through the grapevine. I appreciate that. Spencer, one more thing. Ray's closing? It was for $400,000. If the sale gets voided because of Gabrielle's fraudulent license, he loses the property and possibly his down payment. He's not the only one. Some of these guys are looking at massive losses. After we hung up, I called Ben immediately. We've got a problem. Gabrielle's fraud is bigger than we thought. There's talk of a class action. How many people? At least 20, maybe more. Commercial and residential clients. Some are facing six-figure losses. Ben was quiet for a moment. This changes things. If there's a class action, criminal charges become almost certain. The DA will want to make an example. Good. Spencer, you need to understand what this means. Gabrielle's looking at serious prison time. Years, not months. I understand. And you're okay with that. I thought about Tom's call. About Ray losing $400,000 because he trusted my wife. About 20 other people, small business owners, families, people who worked hard for their money and got scammed. Yeah, I'm okay with it. She made her choices. Now she lives with the consequences. That afternoon, Derek Walsh showed up at my office. Claire buzzed me. Spencer, there's a Derek Walsh here asking to see you. Should I call security? No. Send him back. He walked into my office looking like hell. Unshaven, wrinkled shirt, eyes bloodshot. He sat down without being invited. I need you to drop the investigation. I almost laughed. That's not happening. You don't understand. If this goes to trial, I'm going down too. I'm 23 years old, Spencer. This will ruin my life before it even starts. Should have thought about that before you helped my wife commit fraud. She told me everything was legal. I didn't know about the fake license until you exposed it. But you knew she was married. You knew what you were doing there. He looked down. Yeah. Here's what I understand, Derek. You're not 23, you're 31. I had you checked out. You've got a history of working with older women in business partnerships that conveniently end with you walking away with money. This isn't your first scam. It's just the first time you got caught. His face went white. How did you? I'm thorough. Which is more than I can say for you and Gabrielle. You two left a trail a blind man could follow. I leaned forward. You want my advice? Get your own attorney. Cut a deal with the DA. Testify against Gabrielle. It's your only chance. She'll never forgive me. Son, she's not going to be in a position to forgive or condemn anyone. She's going to prison. The only question is whether you're going with her. He left without another word. Through my window, I watched him get into his car, a BMW he definitely couldn't afford on a junior agent's salary, and drive away. My phone buzzed. Text from Ben. Class action officially filed. 23 plaintiffs, seeking $2.3 million in damages. I typed back. Let me know if they need any documentation. I'll help however I can. Because that's what you do when you're on the right side. You help justice happen. The trial took place 4 months later in a Maricopa County courtroom. I attended every day, sitting in the back row, watching Gabrielle's carefully constructed lies dismantle piece by piece. The prosecution was thorough. They brought in 23 victims of her fraud. Business owners who'd lost deposits. Families who'd purchased homes through invalid contracts. Tom Brewster's cousin Ray testified about losing $400,000 when his commercial property sale was voided. Gabrielle wore conservative suits and kept her makeup minimal, playing the repentant professional. Her attorney argued she'd made mistakes, but had no criminal intent, that she believed her license was valid, that there was an administrative error. Then the prosecution brought their evidence. The real Gabrielle Henderson from Tucson, whose license Gabrielle had been using. Email records showing Gabrielle had purchased the license information from a document forger in 2016. Bank statements showing systematic theft of client deposits over 5 years, totaling over $2 million. Derek testified on day 3. He'd cut his own deal, pleading guilty to conspiracy charges in exchange for testifying against Gabrielle. He looked younger somehow, scared. He detailed how they'd planned Montgomery Walsh Realty Solutions, how Gabrielle had convinced him the licensing issues were being sorted out, how they divided client money. Did you love the defendant? The prosecutor asked. Derek glanced at Gabrielle. I thought I did. Now I think she was just using me like she used everyone else. The defense cross-examined him aggressively, painted him as a jilted lover seeking revenge. But the bank records didn't lie. Neither did the business filings, or the hotel receipts, or the 47 recorded phone calls between them discussing how to hide money from me. On day 5, Olivia showed up. 7 months pregnant now, showing clearly. She sat on the prosecution's side of the courtroom. When Gabrielle saw her, something in her face fractured. The mask slipped. During a recess, Gabrielle confronted Olivia in the hallway. I watched from a distance as Gabrielle screamed at her sister. "You're pregnant with his baby? Derek's baby?" "Yes." Olivia's voice was steady. "You slept with my boyfriend while I was married." "Your boyfriend was sleeping with both of us, Gabrielle, and with at least 2 other women. You weren't special to him. None of us were." Gabrielle slapped her, hard enough that the sound echoed. Court security immediately intervened, pulling them apart. The judge added assault charges to Gabrielle's list. Howard and Marilyn sat on opposite sides of the courtroom after that. Howard with Gabrielle, Marilyn with Olivia. The Montgomery family had split down the middle. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Guilty on 17 counts of fraud. Guilty on 8 counts of theft. Guilty on conspiracy charges. Sentencing came 2 weeks later. The judge was a woman in her 60s who'd clearly had enough of white-collar criminals. "Ms. Brooks, you didn't just steal money. You stole trust. You exploited people's dreams of home ownership, of building businesses, of creating better lives. You showed no remorse, only calculation. This court sentences you to 8 years in state prison, with restitution of $2.1 million to your victims." Gabrielle's legs gave out. Court officers caught her as she collapsed. I walked out of that courtroom and drove straight to my office. Ben called an hour later. "Divorce finalized. Judge awarded you everything. The house, all marital assets, plus she's liable for all legal fees. What about the restitution? She'll never pay it. She's broke. Derek already sold everything and disappeared. But legally, she owes it." I hung up and stared at the Phoenix skyline. 8 years. She'd be 51 when she got out. I'd be 51 too, but I'd be free. That evening, Olivia called. "Thank you for not using my pregnancy against Gabrielle. That wasn't my battle to fight. Still, you could have made it worse. Instead, you just told the truth and let the evidence speak. How are you doing?" "Scared. Alone. But honest, finally. That counts for something. It counts for everything." After we hung up, I thought about the past year. The discovery, the betrayal, the systematic destruction of everything I'd thought was real. But I also thought about Carmen Delgado, the urban development coordinator I'd met at that arts gala. We'd been seeing each other for 3 months now. Nothing rushed, nothing complicated. Just 2 adults enjoying honest conversation. She knew everything about Gabrielle. I told her the whole story. She didn't run. She just listened, then said, "Thank you for being honest. That matters to me." Honesty. It really did matter most. 18 months after the trial, I stood in the conference room of my expanded real estate agency. Brooks Commercial Properties now had 4 agents, a dedicated administrative assistant, and a reputation for integrity that brought in steady business. The house, my house, had been completely renovated. New furniture, new paint, new memories replacing old ones. Carmen had helped with the design, though she maintained her own place. We weren't rushing into anything. We both learned the value of taking things slow. Olivia had a baby girl. Named her Sophie. Derek's name wasn't on the birth certificate. He'd vanished completely. Last heard from somewhere in Mexico. Olivia was rebuilding her life with the help of therapy and a surprisingly strong support network of friends. Marilyn helped with the baby. Howard refused to acknowledge Sophie's existence. The Montgomery family remained fractured. Howard visited Gabrielle, imprisoned twice a month. Marilyn had stopped going after 6 months, telling me during a chance encounter at the grocery store that she couldn't watch her daughter waste away while refusing to accept responsibility. "She still blames you," Marilyn had said. "Claims you orchestrated everything." Does she blame Derek? Or herself? Never. That's not who Gabrielle is. I know. That's why I left. The class action settlement had been finalized. Victims received approximately 40 cents on the dollar from seized assets and insurance payouts. Not enough, but something. Several of them had become my clients, appreciating that I'd helped rather than hidden. My phone rang. "Carmen. Hey you. Still coming to dinner tonight? Wouldn't miss it. Your place or mine?" "Mine. I'm trying a new recipe. Fair warning. It might be terrible. I'll bring wine and low expectations." She laughed. Perfect combination. After we hung up, I walked to the window overlooking downtown Phoenix. The city looked different now. Cleaner somehow, like I was seeing it without fog for the first time in years. Ben called later that afternoon. "Spencer, interesting development. Gabrielle's attorney filed an appeal." "On what grounds?" Excessive sentence given her lack of prior criminal history. They're asking for reduction to 3 years. Will it work? Unlikely. The judge was pretty clear about her reasoning, but it'll delay things, maybe add another year to the process. Let me know if they need anything from me. Will do. How are you doing with all this? Honestly, I don't think about her much anymore. She's just someone I used to know who made terrible choices. That's healthy. It's honest. That's all I care about now. That evening at Carmen's apartment, we cooked together in her small kitchen. She told me about the community development project she was working on, revitalizing an old neighborhood into mixed-use space. I told her about a new client looking for warehouse space. You know what I like about you, she said, stirring sauce. My devastating good looks. She smiled. Your honesty. You don't play games. You don't hide things. After my divorce, that's all I wanted, someone real. I'm pretty basic. Basic is underrated. Basic is refreshing. We ate dinner on our balcony, watching the sunset paint the sky orange and purple. No drama, no secrets, no landmines waiting to explode. Just two people who'd survived their own disasters, choosing to build something new on foundations of truth. Later, driving home, I passed the courthouse where Gabrielle's trial had taken place. The building looked smaller now, less intimidating. Just brick and glass, not the monument to betrayal it had seemed during those long days of testimony. My phone buzzed. Text from Olivia, a photo of Sophie sleeping. She smiled today. A real smile. First one. I texted back. Beautiful. You're doing great. Learning as I go. Thanks for checking in occasionally. Means more than you know. I pulled into my driveway, killed the engine, and sat for a moment. The porch light was on timer, welcoming me home to a space that was entirely mine. No lies hiding in closets. No secrets buried in bank statements. Tomorrow I had 3 client meetings. Next week, Carmen and I were driving up to Sedona for the weekend. Next month, the agency was sponsoring a youth business program downtown. Life wasn't perfect, but it was honest. And after everything, honest was exactly what I needed. I walked inside, locked the door behind me, and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace.